Welcome back to Butter and Barfing with Ashley and Emily.
Part 2.
All right, Emery.
So my ghee experience was a lot easier than Ashley's. They only had me do it 2 days because I ended up getting a rash on my legs and loose stools and...
Yeah, my body was like, I can drink ghee all day, no problem.
Yeah, my body was not having it. I
Except
still
for
somewhat
me
have a
getting nauseous.
rash on my legs from it. It's going away, but it's okay. So again, have to be in the treatment room 6 a.m. So they oiled me up on one side, flipped me over, oiled me up on the other side, and then stuck me in the steam chamber. Then I got to rinse off, so same as Ashley, and then I went into the other treatment room where the doctor was. I don't know how much of the stuff I drank. I know I drank 2 things of the sweet milk, and then I had the brownish liquid that was kind of sweet but kind of bitter at the same time. It was very strange, and it had a horrible aftertaste. However, it wasn't nearly as bad as the chunky medicine that induces the diarrhea. So I had
diarrhea or vomiting?
vomiting.
Okay.
Well, vomiting. So induces the vomiting. So I had 2 of the milk, some of the brownish liquid, some more milk, some more brownish liquid, and then I think some more milk. And then I had the medicine that induced the vomiting, and then she gave me some more milk, and I was getting some stomach-ish cramps from the medicine, which is what it's supposed to do. And so she asked me because I felt like I could throw up, and so I told her, yeah, I feel like I could throw up. She's like, well, then throw up. And I'm like, okay, well, my stomach's not having it right now, buddy. And she was just like, okay, well, you can try to stick your finger in your mouth to induce the vomiting. And I was like, I would rather not. And so then she said, okay, well, you can drink some more. So I just looked over at the glass of milk and I threw up. just looking at it. Then I threw up some more, and then I threw up some more, and then I threw up some more, and then my stomach was still cramping, and then she had me drink some more of the gross brown liquid. I think 2 cups of that. And then
I liked the sweet milk. I didn't like the brown liquid.
Yeah. I threw up some more. I don't know how many times I threw up. I was throwing up for a little while. Felt like an eternity.
I know, right?
And then I ended up throwing up so hard that I threw up blood. And so the doctor...
No worries. That was on the warning of the treatment. It was
on the treatment warning.
It said that can't happen.
Yeah.
And her throat feels better now?
It does feel better now. But the doctor looked, and I could tell she was concerned. And then since I saw she was concerned, I started getting concerned. And so then she was trying to tell me not to be concerned. And I was just like, ma'am, you look concerned, so I'm gonna be concerned. And so she was just telling me how, vomiting that much causes the little cuts in your throat and can cause you to throw up blood. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Why are you so concerned then? Let's see. They let me wash my face because I was hella sweaty.
Yeah.
I was drenched in sweat.
Yeah, my gown was
and at one point
drenched.
I started crying, but I couldn't make out tears versus the sweat because it was just everything. It was a very emotional time. I don't really like vomiting, and I don't like throw up. I can't even be around throw up, but luckily it didn't have that throw up smell, because then I wouldn't have stopped vomiting until I was just dead. I can't do throw up. And then she thought I was done. My stomach was still hurting, but she let me sit a little bit, and she let me, after I threw up blood, she let me drink some water, just plain water. So I took a few sips of that, and then I threw up again. And then we sat for a little while, and then I drank a little bit more water. And then we had been there for a little bit, and I had it thrown up again in like a couple of minutes. So she was like, I think you're okay to go back to the room. And I said, I don't know about that. My stomach's still cramping. Like, I don't feel good. I don't know about this. And she was like, okay, well, we can wait a little bit longer. So we waited a little bit longer, drank a little bit more water. And then she was like, okay, let's try to get you back to the room. So I was like, okay, cool. So I stood up and I got to the door, and then I felt like I was going to throw up. So I went back to my little chair, and I sat there and I dry heaved, and I was like, nothing came out. Oh, and then throughout in between the drinking and the actual throwing up, there was also a lot of just heaving.
I was getting more mucus out during my heaving. I had like little of mucus.
All right, well, in my bucket, I could see my milk, and I could see where I threw up the medicine, and I could see up the brown liquid, but I didn't really see any mucus in it. And I could see my blood. And there was a part that kind of looked oily, so I think that might be the ghee. Yeah. But I
didn't get the medicine out until I was one of the times that I vomited in the room. And then, there was one of the times where I threw up in the room that it looked oily, so I was wondering if that was ghee too.
I threw up the medicine after I threw up blood. Yeah. So I sat back down, dry heaved, did not throw up, so I drank a little bit more water. Mistake. She had me stand up and finally decided that I was okay. So I went out to sit down to have them take my blood pressure. So I was sitting and waiting. She literally got the cuff on, put the things on her ears, and I was just like, I think I'm going to throw up. Because my chest started, like, seizing up, and I was like, legitimately this time, like, before it was, like, my stomach seizing up, and now it's, like, my chest and my stomach. So we gotta go. And she was like, huh? And then the doctor came up, and I was like, we gotta go. And she was like, oh, shoot, and ripped the thing off my arm and took me back in there. And I sat down, and I was like, nothing came out. I was like a cat with a hairball.
It's stuck.
Yeah. So she had me take a couple more sips of water and sit there for a couple more minutes, and then she was like, okay, you can just go back to your room. So one of my treatment girls was so sweet, and she was making sure to walk me back to the room because I was fairly weak and not doing too hot. I was hella sweaty.
It's like we jumped in the ocean.
I think I was more freaking wet after vomiting than I was going swimming.
Yeah.
So we're walking back to the room, and we get like a quarter of the way, and I'm like, oh shoot, like I need the bathroom right now. Like I have to go to the bathroom. Like I think I need to poop like right now. So we start walking a little bit faster. Big mistake, because I knew if I start like walking faster, my stomach was not having it. So right there on the side of the walkway, halfway to the room, I threw up.
And I saw her. I was waiting on the porch for her, and so I saw her doing that. So then I started getting the room ready for her to come in.
Yeah, so I threw up like 2 or 3 times on the side of the walkway. It was just water. I was just throwing up the water. I had nothing left in me other than water. And the sweet girl that was with me, because I was apologizing for throwing up, and she was like, no, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. Get it out. You're doing great. This is really good. You are great. You are doing it. I'm so proud of you. And I was like, wow, thanks. I would have been sobbing without you. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to make it to the room. I would have just gone to the ocean and been like, peace, guys. That's it. Life done. No more. So we made it back to the room. She dropped me off, made sure I was with Ashley. As soon as I walked in the room, I was like, oh, I need the toilet. So I went straight to the bathroom. And
I already had the door open, lit up, ready for her.
yeah. It was like very watery, and it was yellowish in color. It was kind of concerning, and it had like some mucus in it. It was real gross.
That's where her mucus
Real
started
gross.
coming out.
Yeah.
Was in the diarrhea.
I don't know if you can. It was liquidy water. It wasn't even diarrhea. Like
Well, I know, but it's still coming out.
Yeah.
It's not pee.
Yeah. Let's see. They sent me a hot water bag and a medicine that I took.
Because her stomach was still cramping.
Because, yeah, my stomach was still cramping, so they gave me a medicine for the cramping. And so I tried to sit in a chair for a little bit, but that didn't work. So I ended up just laying on the floor right in the doorway of the bathroom. So I was, like, close. We ended up having to call reception to get me a bucket, because at one point I was on the toilet and I didn't know if
Which
I was
way
going to
was
throw up. Like, I legitimately thought it was going to come out both ways at the same time. It was horrible. Then I proceeded to lay back down on the floor for a little while.
So the buckets we had to vomit in were bigger than this.
Yeah. And that's the bucket that they brought us just in case I needed to vomit.
Yeah.
I think I went to the bathroom about 5 times.